Good afternoon, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and in this particular video I'm going to attempt to show you how to upgrade Ubuntu 16.04 to Ubuntu 18.04. I may succeed, I may not. Let's just get started, shall we? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to click this little icon on the lower left corner of your screen. Okay? When you do, and as you can see, I'm pointing to it. I know you can't see me. That's fine. That's the way we want it right now. We need to focus on the computer screen up here. So I want you to look down here at the lower left corner of the screen. You see that little icon right there? Okay, I got my finger on it right now. When you click that, you're going to type into this little text box up here, software and updates. When you do, I want you to click this right here. And alright, now when you do that, I want you to go to updates right over here and make sure that this box right here says for long-term support versions. When you do that, close this. Okay? Now then, I'm going to pause this for just a second and then I'm going to show you what to do next. Don't worry, we're going to go right back to where we were. Alright, hang on just a second. As you can see, we are right back to where we started. Now the next thing I want you to do is I want you to click the software updater. We have to make sure that all of our software is properly updated. It's going to check for updates. It's going to download a bunch of updates, okay? Okay. It's going to ask you if you want to install all these updates, and yes you do. So we're going to install them now. Okay, the computer software now is all the way up to date. Now we're going to return back to this little icon. Alright, now I'm going to pause this video for just a second and then I'm going to show you what to do next. So hang in there. Now the next thing you will want to do is you will want to open the terminal box. We've opened this many times before. If you've watched any of my videos, you know what this terminal box actually is. We're going to go ahead and open it. What we're going to do is we're going to hold down the Control key, the Alt key, and type the letter T. Okay? Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually, I'm going to put this command down here in the description below. Okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to copy that and you're going to paste it into the terminal box. And when you do, you're going to hit enter. And then you're going to type in your password. Okay, as you can see, everything is now updated, ready to go. I'm going to show you the next piece in just a moment, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to enter this command into the terminal box, and when you do, then you're going to run it, and then I'm going to tell you what to do next, okay? Now, I will have this command, just like the last one, in the description below. So don't worry about trying to find it because I will have it. Alright, so here we go. And under the word prompt, well, not under it, but right next to the word prompt is an equal sign and it says LTS. That means that this computer is doing what it needs to do. It's looking for these long-term releases, okay? You don't want an experimental version of Ubuntu Linux. You want something that is permanent, that isn't going to be experimental in any way, shape, or form. See what I mean? Okay. Now I'm going to close this out and I'm going to show you the next thing you need to do to upgrade this to Ubuntu 18.04. So hang on just a second. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to close your terminal box, but then you're going to open it up again. Okay? Then you're going to type this line right here, this command line, into the terminal box. You'll hit enter. Once again, you'll have to enter your password. And then when you are prompted, you're going to hit yes. Okay? So, hang in there, folks. Da, 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 da. This could take a few minutes. Okay. Upgrades like this are not quick. They're kind of slow. Okay, I'm convinced that Gandhi moved faster than this. The Earth rotates faster than this. Snails move faster than this. I guarantee you that. Now, I know they're going to say, well, this is fast. Really? I've seen volcanoes erupt faster than this. Da 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 da. Okay. Okay, we're going to continue. We're going to hit yes. Hit the Y button, that is yes. And enter. Now they say it could take several hours, but I don't think it'll take that long. It could take a few minutes. It may be as high as 20 minutes, I don't know. But I don't think hours would be quite the description I'd give it. The only reason why they say it could take several hours is that if you have an older computer and it doesn't have a very fast processor with all the stuff that it's getting ready to install, yeah, it could take some time. But if you have a newer one, say like maybe a year or two behind, it shouldn't take that long. As you can see, we're already at 16%. We're going to 17%. Also, you have to keep in mind that not only is this upgrading the operating system, but it's also upgrading any software that you have in your operating system. Remember, you not only have an operating system, but you have several computer programs. And so it's going to update those as well. That's the kind of thing that can actually take the time. See what I mean? Now, why would you want to upgrade to Ubuntu 18.04? Because every time you upgrade, there will be new features. And I have found that as I was looking through all the Ubuntu releases, the more modern the release is, the more Windows-like features that you end up having. Because Ubuntu Linux and all other flavors of Linux, all of them, are trying to be more and more like Microsoft Windows. The reason for that is it gets more people to use this. Now you say, well, why would I want to use Ubuntu Linux? Well, here's the reason for that. The reason is that Microsoft has something called a SQL server. That is called SQL. And SQL, of course, is an acronym for the Structured Query Language. Now, in the old days, installing the SQL Server was no problem. However, several years ago, I tried to install, I think it was like the 2012, 2015, I don't remember which one it was. But one of their releases, I tried to install it into my Windows computer. What happened? Well, the program didn't install correctly. I couldn't get it out of my hard drive. It made my hard drive slow. And after a ton of aggravation, I finally had to take the hard drive completely out of my computer. I had to reformat the hard drive, reinstall Windows, and after that, I turned to the Exist database. Now you say, well, that's no big deal. Exist will actually work in Windows. Here's the problem. Java, okay, the Oracle Java that you see on Oracle, doesn't necessarily work well with Windows 10. And that's the problem. So, I went ahead and took, I had an old computer that was handed to me by a friend of mine, and we put Ubuntu Linux in it, and then I put the Exist database software in here, and I put Java. Now, I put Java 10 in here, but for some reason, Exist 4 will not work with Java 10 right now. They're working on that. Eventually it will. But in the meantime, they told me to put Java 8 into my computer and have it work with that. Now, one of the things you're going to have to keep in mind while you're doing these updates, before you totally upgrade this computer to Ubuntu 18.04, you need to remove Java 9. That is, if Java 9 is in your computer. If it's not, you don't have to worry about it. But if it is, it's a pain in the royal toaster to get out of that computer. And that's because they have discontinued service for Java 9. Okay, so if you have Java 9, get it out of your computer. It was an experimental Java. I got into my computer. It was a pain in the royal toaster trying to get it out. As you can see now, we are at 90%. So they were right. It is going to take a few minutes to install all this stuff. You can see we're at 93%, 95, 97, 98. And now we're approaching 100%. Okay, now it's going to upgrade. You will need a very good internet connection for this. Broadband is absolutely required for this. If you're on AT&T, it could take longer. I'm with Comcast, so this isn't taking nearly as long. If I were you, if you don't have like Comcast or some other cable provider giving you good internet, I would go to somebody's house that has that kind of internet and just let her go. The most important thing to remember is do not turn off your computer while this thing is upgrading. Really bad idea. I'm being silly right now. I have the right to be silly. Again, I will stress that the faster your internet, the faster your computer processor, the faster your motherboard, the faster this will load. At this point in the game, what I would do is I would get a book, read it, watch a little TV, whatever you want to do, but do not turn off this computer and don't touch it. Just let it do what it has to do. It's gonna be a while. Prepare yourself some lunch. Do whatever you want, but like I say, just go with this. As you can see, it's loading up. We've now been at it for about 11 minutes. If it gets to 45, I'll have to turn the camera off and turn it back on for the rest. Like I say, the more software programs you have on here, the longer this is going to take. So if you don't have a whole lot of software on here, it isn't going to take very long. If you have a lot of it, it's going to take a while. Right now, I've got the VLC player, I've got the LibreOffice, I've got MySQL, I've got the Exist database. Another good thing to remember in doing something like this is to save all your work. You may want to load it onto a flash drive or an SD card. That way you don't have any problems with this. I would not install this on a MacBook. I really wouldn't, because a lot of those MacBooks do not have slots for SD cards. They often don't. It just depends on which one you get. Some of them do have little ports so that you can put your flash drives in them. Some don't. You'd have to do a lot of research on that. I don't know everything about MacBooks because I have never owned a MacBook, but I've heard some stories about them, and they've not all been good. And that's one of the two reasons why I do not do a MacBook. The other reason being is that I was not a fan of Steve Jobs, and I have put videos on my YouTube channel telling you why I was not a fan of Steve Jobs. So there you go. But I'm trying to give you a little filler here. And in case you guys were wondering, I plan to sometime this week upload a video showing you the next HTML project. This will involve SVG. It will involve the Exist database. Since my last video, I have upgraded from Exist 3 point whatever it was to Exist 4 point whatever it is, the latest version. So one of the things I will make a note of right here and right now as you're watching this, if you're dealing with the Exist database, always when you're storing things in the Exist database, make an extra copy, store that into Notepad++, or if you're doing Ubuntu, I would store it in Notepad QQ. They have a program on here called Notepad QQ. It's just like the Notepad++ that you can load up into Windows. And I would store it as text files and have it saved, ready to go. That way, if you're upgrading Exist, when you upgrade Exist, you can't use the data stored in the previous version. Well, that's okay because you've got all the code and it's just a simple copy and paste. So that's something to keep in mind. I would always back up all my work. So what else will I tell you? Well, let's see. I am preparing myself for the bicentennial of the state of Illinois. I'm sure you guys have seen my Instagram page. If you have not, let me know, and I will place a hyperlink to that in the description below down here. And if you have seen photos of myself wearing the red nose shirt, standing next to Looking for Lincoln signs. I wanted to tell you guys that when I went to St. Joseph, Illinois, they had a wreck over there. They had road construction over there, and I got caught in a 15-minute traffic jam. That was not pleasant. I can tell you that it was hot. It was unpleasant. Right now, today, it is raining. Right now, let's see, it is almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I believe this is either the 18th or the 19th of June. So, there you go. But when I was over there in St. Joe, like I said, I got caught in a traffic jam, and that was hot in the middle of the afternoon. Let's see. There are not a lot of businesses in Homer, Illinois, but there were several of them in St. Joseph, Illinois, and I was able to distribute flyers over there whilst I was taking my picture. The Tolono gas station where that Looking for Lincoln sign is, it's not a full service station. Okay, there is no official gas station over there. You just pump your gas, you prepay, etc., etc. So, there's no convenience store you can go in and buy a soda pop or a bag of chips or something like that. That's kind of unfortunate because when I was in Tolono, I wanted to give them a flyer and I was unable to. I'm hoping that the people of Tolono, Illinois will get on the ball and let that gas station know exactly what kind of a sign they have right in front of them. I hope they do. I wanted to let you guys know that over this past week it has been a scorcher. I went to the Stonington Summerfest. I know a lot of you guys watched me go over to the Stonington Summerfest. It was really hot for the parade. I'm sorry for where I was at the Stonington parade. That was the very first time I had ever videotaped the parade. I had videotaped the fireworks a year before, but because I didn't know the exact parade route, I didn't know where to stand, and so therefore I didn't get the marching band actually playing instruments. And for that I do apologize. I also wanted to apologize to all of you guys because when you guys did the fireworks, and it was a great show, it really was. It was 20 minutes of wonder on that. The problem was that it was great you played music in the background. It really enhanced the whole presentation, but YouTube has rules and we can't play that music, so I had to put everything on silent. I didn't want to do that, but I had to. I was forced to do it, so I apologize for that. But anyway, a lot of stuff unpacking. For some reason it couldn't store the cache of the icons. That cache is something I'm going to be covering in a future video. I'm hoping to do that tonight. And this was about smartphones. I uploaded a video about TracFone smartphones. I was trying to show you how some of the stuff actually worked. I'm going to show you a couple of new things in my updated video on that. There were two reasons why I said what I said in the video. One is that because I told you guys not to buy anything off of a smartphone near the end of the video, one of the first things I was trying to do is see if you were going to actually watch the entire video or if you were just going to watch the first couple of minutes. Many of my students watched the first couple of minutes of my presentation. They never got all the way to the end. The second thing was I was seeing what you were going to actually say back to me. And the thing is that there are things about smartphones that a lot of my students don't know, and I'm going to cover this in my video. And it's because of the things that you don't know that causes me to say to my students, don't buy anything off your smartphone until I tell you all this information. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I do have notes for that. Spin Wheels videos. If you are watching this presentation, I hope you are. I hope you're watching the whole thing, because I do have notes for your I watched your video and I do have notes. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions about your video. I'm hoping to do that tonight as well. I'm also going to hopefully make a presentation about EPROM. It's E-P-R-O-M, and you're going to find out what that is tonight. So lots of stuff coming up. As you can see, this thing kind of goes on and on and on and on. Yeesh. I will say that because it rained today, that it feels a lot better in here. The last few days have been unbelievably hot. I guess another thing I can say is they have, I believe it's called the Overland Park here in Decatur, Illinois. It is a miniature golf course. I went to that. It was Saturday. I had already videotaped the parade. I took a little bit of a nap, then I went up and we played miniature golf. That was a friend of mine. A friend of mine and I went to play miniature golf. And it was still hot. Good game though. Too bad I'm not very good at miniature golf. As far as it's concerned, I really don't do well at tossing softballs, baseballs, basketballs, or footballs, and miniature golf is not my forte too. If I was to do anything athletic, it would be track and field. I can run pretty good. As far as throwing things like baseballs and softballs and basketballs and footballs and all this other stuff, I'm not very good at it. Matter of fact, I'm pretty pitiful. I'm glad I never participated in a major sports team because I probably would have failed. Now, as for bobsledding, I might have been able to have pulled that off. Olympic curling, I could probably pull that off, but other things, no. I'll tell you what, I'm going to shut this video off at precisely 2 p.m. I'm going to get some lunch, and I will let you know how much longer this took after I eat my lunch. Hopefully by that time. Now here's the thing. What will probably happen here is that as soon as I shut this camera off, it'll finish up. That's just my luck. It really is. So hopefully it won't just automatically finish up the very second I turn off the camera, but if it does, I'll let you know. In the meantime, I want to thank you very much for watching this presentation. It will continue, so I want you to hang in there and I want you to stay tuned. It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. As you already know, I had to pause the video about 2 o'clock, so it took almost an hour for this whole thing to install. However, we have one more thing that has to be done. It's going to remove packages. As you can see here, it's going to remove certain packages from this computer. So, we're going to go ahead and press the Y for continue. And then we're going to hit enter. And now it's going to do all this. So, I will let you know when all this stuff is removed. Hang in there, folks. I didn't think it was going to take this long, but apparently it is. So, hang in there. I'll tell you more in just a second, so stay tuned. Now that all the packages have been deleted, the computer will have to restart. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to type the letter Y, just like this. And then we're going to hit enter, and the computer will restart, and hopefully by that point the update will be complete. Well, actually the upgrade as it has actually become. So we're going to upgrade this from Ubuntu 16.04 to Ubuntu 18.04. So hopefully this will be the last step. I will tell you more in just a second, so stay tuned. As you can plainly see, we have now updated from Ubuntu 16.04 to Ubuntu 18.04. I will cover all the new features in a separate video. Thank you very much for watching this presentation. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned.